2 stories that will leave you shook. Story 1 happened 3 weeks ago when my best friend Rachel got back from her family vacation to Florida. Rachel had always been the type to document everything on social media. I'm talking multiple Instagram stories per day, photo dumps of every meal, constant Snapchat updates. But she came back from this Florida trip and hadn't posted a single photo. When I asked how the vacation went, she just said it was fine, and immediately changed the subject to ask about my weekend plans. This was weird because Rachel normally gave me play-by-play accounts of everything that happened on family trips, complete with complaints about her annoying cousins and stories about tourist traps. Then I started noticing she was checking her phone obsessively during our hangouts. Like every few minutes, she'd glance at the screen, and her whole expression would change. She'd frown, type something back quickly, then shove the phone deep into her bag like she was trying to hide it from me. We'd meet for our usual coffee dates, and she'd be completely distracted the entire time, jumping whenever her phone buzzed with notifications. When I'd ask if everything was okay, she'd force this bright fake smile and say work was just really stressful lately. But Rachel worked part-time at a flower shop arranging bouquets. How stressful could cutting stems and tying ribbons really be? The weirdest part was she started asking all these random questions about my family, specifically about my brother Tyler, like how often we talked, whether he'd mentioned anything about his new job, if I knew exactly what kind of work he was doing now. I found this strange because in the 2 years Rachel and I had been best friends, she'd barely acknowledged Tyler's existence beyond polite hellos when he picked me up sometimes. Story 2 started happening right around the same time. My brother Tyler, who's normally super social and calls me at least twice a week to complain about work or ask what I'm watching on Netflix, suddenly went completely radio silent. When I'd text him funny memes or ask about his weekend plans, he'd respond hours later with these short, weird messages that didn't sound like him at all. Tyler had always been the type to send paragraphs of rambling responses, complete with terrible spelling and way too many laughing emojis. But suddenly, his texts were just 1 or 2 words. Yeah, busy. Talk later. No personality whatsoever. He missed our mom's birthday dinner last week, which was completely unlike him because Tyler never missed family events. He's the golden child who shows up early and brings flowers. When I called to ask where he was, he said something urgent came up with work and he couldn't get away. But Tyler worked construction, and I'd never known any construction job that required weekend emergency shifts at 7 in the evening. I got suspicious and drove by his apartment complex that Sunday afternoon. His car wasn't in his assigned parking spot, which was weird because Sunday afternoons were when Tyler always stayed home watching football and eating leftover pizza. I called him immediately and asked what he was up to. He told me he was just relaxing at home, but I was literally staring at his empty parking space. That's when I started paying closer attention to both their social media activity. I noticed Rachel and Tyler had both posted photos from the same downtown coffee shop, but on different days. Same corner table by the window, same angle, almost like they were following some kind of pattern or routine. When I casually mentioned that coffee shop to Rachel, asking if she'd ever been there, she looked me straight in the eye and claimed she'd never heard of the place. Yesterday, I decided to camp out at that coffee shop and see what was so important about it. I ordered a latte and sat at a table with a clear view of that corner spot they'd both photographed. After sitting there for almost 2 hours, feeling like some kind of amateur detective, I finally saw Tyler walk through the front door. But he wasn't alone, and when I saw who was with him, I finally understood why both Rachel and Tyler had been acting so strange for the past 3 weeks.